Time and Tide, the Australian Watch Authority.
Freestyle this, you're going to know exactly
You're better at freestyle than me.
Okay, are we on?
Yeah. How are you, Andrew?
I'm well. 18 months ago, we had a little dream, a little idea. What's happening behind us right now?
It's amazing. It's what we had at that evening.
We're living in that dream.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about something happening at the museum linked with the legacy of Omega, but also linked with something totally new. So I'm very proud of living this moment here in Biel and having you on my side and not unfortunately being in Australia, what I like very much.
Well, we were in Sydney when we had this dream,
Yes.
and we're living that dream now. But what I didn't know in Sydney, and what we didn't have any idea about, was that on this night, we would also introduce this baby to the world. Please tell us about what this is.
You know what I like in any stories, and don't get me wrong, I mean,
Okay.
This museum has plenty of histories, and we were talking to everybody in the world about how much value Omega has. But if you look at that watch, this is even better, because this is past, because it's really
It's literally from the past,
from
the
the
movement.
past, but it's creating for a future that is marvelous. If you look at that movement that our master watchmakers, and not only the best one, the very best one, have done by creating a brand new watch. We're very happy to have this, to launch this watch, because this is exactly what we had in mind, but having our passion for watches, have passion for Omega, of celebrating the past. But what better example of celebrating the past by launching this kind of movement?
I have one question for you. What does it mean for Omega to release the Wrist-Chronograph with an original movement in an entirely new refurbished case with refurbished everything? Just tell me, because I can't think of a precedent.
You have a movement that stems from the 1900s. It's an integrated chronograph. It's a manufactured chronograph, and it's housed in a watch that was produced in 1913 as a real wristwatch. So a lot of journalists think that, you know, like it's easy, you take a chronograph, you just transform it into a wrist, solder lugs and stuff like that. It isn't. In 1913, we have released this thing, you can see it in sales catalogs, in advertisements, as a real wristwatch. This changes the shape of the wristwatch in a way.
Yeah.
And to release it not as a classical re-edition with a new movement or things like that.
And no new components.
Exactly.
So many
Yeah.
ways this could have been modernized. It is tell me, but is it not the same?
It is the same and it isn't, but what it carries is the spirit of the brand, because it's Omega people. I mean, it's our colleagues from the Atelier Tourbillon that by hand finish these movements in one way, in the exact way an Omega hand or an Omega colleague in 1913 would have finished the movement. But at the same time, there's a new way of finishing. The sandblasting, the diamond edging, and it's just brilliant. So it's like combining the best possible DNA and the most timeless and at the same time modern decoration, and you just don't go one step too far. You go far, but you don't go too far.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Petros, that made so much sense. I could have
Really?
asked anyone in the room that question, but I wanted to ask you, because there's always that touch of poetry.
You are,
Beautifully said.
come on. He's overdoing it.